It is the P&P Podcast.
Woo! Episode 4, as Jeff Coates would say, but it's not really true. We are live. How was that? How was that?
We are live. That's a good job, and we are live. We are.
Do you know who Jeff Coates actually is? He's the Bruce Buffer of the waterfowl world. Yeah. And if you don't know who Bruce Buffer is, like look at MMA. You know, so which is awesome because of his brother. Like his brother was in the boxing side of things, right? Who got Let's Get Ready to Rumble, made that popular. But like Bruce Buffer in MMA, like he is so animated. That's what I love about him when he twists, when he points to the corners and stuff like that. He's very animated. I like him. Anyways.
So, good, Dave.
No, I was just going to say Jeff's voice is so like, it's so easily recognizable. For like 2 weeks straight, I was laying on the couch, just put waterfowl into YouTube, and that's basically all I did was just watch waterfowl YouTube stuff for a long time, right? 2 weeks straight, pretty much. But I'd have a nap and then I'd wake up, and then every now and then I'd wake up and I'd hear Jeff's voice. I'm like, oh, I must be on Pitboss. No, it's just him doing someone's introduction, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
So you bring up the Bruce Buffer. Molly's would say that I'm their Bruce Buffer. Basically, I'm kind of the voice here. Here's a shameless plug, but I just did this one this morning.
Didn't go 20. These deals won't go 20. The old Rutster, Rut Daniels, going to be at Molly's place, Kennyville, Maryland, August 15th. The Sway. That's right. This is your chance to come meet Rut Daniels in person. Rut will be at the store August 15th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Molly's Family Pig Roast. There will be a Molly's dunking booth where you'll have a chance to dunk David from Molly's. Plenty of brand reps on site doing demos. The archery range will be open. Live music. Heck, I'll even be there. So make sure you make it to Molly's on August 15th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. for your chance to win $30,000 in prizes. Pork for the pig roast will be donated by Langenfelder Farm, located in Kennedyville. Plus, the pig roast is supporting the Maryland Pork Producers Association. Meet Rut Daniels August 15th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. So fuel your adventure at Molly's in Kennedyville, Maryland.
So there you go. It was kind of a shameless plug, but when you said Bruce Buffer, that's kind of, it's kind of, I do all their radio spots, and I did that one this morning. So I did one yesterday. They can still I'm going to go off. You got to reel me back in, but can't, guns and ammo, you can't do on social media anymore. But on at least local air, we can still talk about guns and ammo. And we did. I did a handgun ad yesterday for them. So,
okay, Dave.
No, I was just like, sometimes when Jeff does that, I'm thinking Krusty Krab from SpongeBob. But no, like that advertisement actually makes me wish that I could drive right now, and then I'd be down there winning $30,000 in prizes. Just saying.
Well, and I've got to throw out, Rut Daniels is becoming a celebrity, but I just got to throw this out there for all the listeners. Good Canadian boy right here, and he's making his mark down south of the border. Didn't go 20 is his catchphrase, and anybody that's heading to Molly's, I guarantee you will be entertained with Rut Daniels.
I kind of got a beef to pick with Rut Daniels. You see, we did a waterfowl hunt there, this snow goose hunt there this spring.
Yep.
And Rut Daniels hunted the field that we were in the 2 days before us, and he smashed birds. Mm-hmm. He smashed so many birds, they were afraid of the field we were in. And because of him, we had one bird show up in 2 days.
That's right.
So it's right. Rut's fault.
Truly. Now that was just unplanned on me, like going on that little segue, but it segues us into episode 4.
Yeah. It does. So episode 4, thanks for reeling me in, Jeff, which is usually the other way around. But thanks for that, because episode 4, Jeff and Dave and I were chatting last night, and we were like, well, what are we going to talk about this morning? And I said, well, let's talk about the influence that social media has had on the waterfowling community as a whole. And I know for anybody that knows Jeff, knows how long Jeff's been into the game. So he's seen it from when there was nothing to where it is today. So really wanted to pick his brain. As normal, Dave's bit of the nerd, so he'll get in on some of the really specific things with regards to the social media stuff, and I'm here to moderate because I don't know nothing. So anyways, the social media, I'll start it off with this question, and you guys can bounce back and forth. We are in a society now where social media is such a big part of our personal life, our professional life, everything. So I know people will always say, well, social media is the downfall of this and downfall. I don't want to talk about the bad things because I want to focus on the good things that social media is doing. So from your point of view, how is social media, the technology, advanced your personal or professional, I guess professional, your professional brand or business?
Yeah, and I think that and I wrote it down, but you said it in there too. It's, to me, yes, social media, but it's more technology, right?
Yeah.
I can remember, the first iPhone 3, and I was the old, or let's rewind past the smartphones, the old flip phone, or you didn't have a phone at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my first, I'm gonna really be the old guy today, but my first phone in the pickup truck was the old handheld Motorola that you actually picked the thing up and
like a brick.
Yeah, it looked like a real phone,
Yeah.
But so let's get the social media, I guess, and the technology. My first recollection of the internet, I kind of heard of the internet, but as far as actually getting on and trying to use it, explored in a waterfowl advantage, let's say, it would have been about 1990, late 94, 95, somewhere in there. And the old dial-up stuff, slow, you sit there forever waiting for a picture to download, that kind of thing. And but again, if you follow along with me at all, I always mention the name Donald Hughes, and basically I met Donald Hughes through, can't say social media then, that's just, well, a little bit, if we're going to count forums as being social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but definitely technology. I met Donald through through technology, and he was kind of an original blogger, if you will. Basically, he hunted every day, September 1st to March 15th at that time, and not Sundays, but he did a daily deeds, he called it, and he sent, it was on his webpage, as well as he had an emailing list. We talked about emails earlier, but he had an email. Once you're on his email list, like, he mailed it out to you every day. So through there, the only forum back in the day, and it was Sporting Adventures. He always called it Spivey, and there was a real little waterfowl section to Spivey. And from Spivey, Jim Burnham's Hoosier Jim, he kind of spiraled off that. He was a very opinionated kind of guy, and it was like kind of his sandbox, his way or the highway kind of thing. And he had the best damn duck blind in cyberspace, Hoosier Jim's. He was from Indiana, and he started a waterfowl specific forum, webpage and a talk forum, right? And he gave people, like, I know I had like a little side page on there where he gave me the rights to I guess kind of like an I was an Atlantic Flyway guy, and again, kind of, you had to know some HTML. Just wasn't simply hitting an icon and making it happen, but you get in there and you could change colors, and you could do a lot of different things, but you kind of had to know some HTML, right? So from that, David Coram and Chester Mathis, pronounced his last name correctly, I think. Chester had a call company, a Crackling Mallard, something like, somebody can tell me I'm wrong or correct me, but I'm gonna say, I'll call it Crackling Mallard. But anyway, they started duckhunter.net, the refuge forums, and that's really where it kind of took off. And the refuge forums it's still there today. I get an email, I'm on their emailing list, so I'll get an email, maybe every other week kind of thing. But everybody kind of gravitated towards, there was the refuge, there was another one called the Southern Duck Hunter, and they wanted you to pay. And so, duck hunters being the way they are, everybody kind of said, well, hell with that, let's go. Everybody really made the refuge a very powerful place and tool, because that's basically where, if you were in the waterfowl world and you were online, that's where you went to hang out. And so that was my beginnings of the technology, the social media, and I was even a sponsor of the refuge for a while. So it and it's still there today. Fellow in New York, can't remember his name right just top of my head, but I know he owns it. And he was trying to run it more as a business, and I just don't know, with everything that is out there for free. Like, he does have sponsors, but I think there's probably a bigger bang for your buck out there.
So sorry, Dave, I'm just going to cut you off here. So the question was, how did it benefit your business or your brand? But that's good. No, that's good, because what you done, Jeff, is you started us off on a little bit of the history. So we'll come back to the question here in a little bit, because the history is the ticket. That's where we started. So Dave, sorry, I cut you off, but now you go.
No, I was just going to say, like, kind of both, like the history and that, like, you think 30 years ago, 25 years ago, you didn't have your cell phone to just call each other and be like, hey, I got a hot field, right? Like, you were going to the coffee shop. If you wanted to meet a new hunter, going to the coffee shop, oh, you've got waders on, or, oh, you've got, cork. Now, like, I wouldn't have never met you two.
No, that's right.
Like, with social media, that's kind of the point I'm trying to make, is that, like, social media has expanded it so that, now there's an opportunity that I might go hunt with Jeff Coates just because we're friends now. Right. Like, right. And I would have never met him back in my horse and buggy, like, it's kind of expanded the world of hunting. And I get to see, like, okay, this is how Jeff does it. This is how Damien does it. I get to see different perspectives and take all the good ideas and learn from it. So it's kind of expanded that way. Right. Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that I really want to focus on here is there are so many positives that this technology that's evolved over time, that there are so many positives. And Dave, like, you and I would never have met. Jeff, we would never have met without the idea of a podcast. You know what I mean? So really cool. So that's the history from Jeff. Dave, like, I know you came into Punisher Waterfowl after already being operating for a couple years, but the brand of Punisher Waterfowl has seen a big increase in our social media footprint in the last, since you came on, really, right? So if I could ask you, because I don't think I've ever asked you, but, like, what is your experience with regards of trying to grow a brand, relying 100% on social media?
Really, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of questioning, and it's a lot of like, seeing what works for others, right? And it's not easy. There's no, I've downloaded or bought like 4 books off of Amazon and read them, like, oh, this is how you can do it. Well, you know what? There's certain gimmicks that work for people 100% of the time, and neither you or I have those. And it's just such a different thing. Like, you just got to kind of throw out some Hail Marys, see what's working for other people, and try to mimic that and build on that. But don't try and take stuff from other people that you would never do. The biggest thing that we've done is taking stuff that other people do that we do exactly the same, and just showing our side of it, right? Like, be yourself.
What's that saying? Imitation is the best form of flattery.
Yeah, that's just it. So,
go for it. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, like we've never tried to imitate 100% other people. We've just taken what other people have done and just said, well, here's our version of it. This is us, right? And just, you might not make it. Like, look at some of these guys on some of these new social media platforms. Like, well, there's well-known TikTok guys that are just becoming famous because they make one viral video. But if you look, they'll talk about, like, they've got 6 cell phones with 6 different accounts, and it's just which one hits. That's it, right? So You never know. It's a different beast.
So, and Jeff, like if I remember a previous conversation that you and I had, and Dave was involved in this too, but like you alluded to Donald Hughes, right? And your relationship with him and how he introduced you. You were already a sea duck guide, and it was Donald that sort of, like, listen, you got to learn the internet because this is the future. And he really pushed the internet onto you. So can you talk about, was there an explosion with regards to business when you were, you were probably advertising in Waterfowl magazine and going to these trade shows and doing this? Was there an explosion in business from going from magazine to internet? I guess that's a very long-winded question.
Yeah, so I was not guiding before I met Donald.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But in that process, he's the one we hunted a lot together. And he's like, man, you'd be a great guide, kind of thing.
Okay,
that's kind of how it was from his. Again, if I say this often, if I didn't meet Donald Hughes, we wouldn't be sitting here talking right now. That's that I feel pretty confident about.
Right.
At least into the relationship that we currently have. Right. Maybe we'd talk, but not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be who I am. So that said, he says it's a double-edged sword, man. He says you got to learn this internet because that's the way you're going to promote yourself. But when you promote yourself, you're going to have others that want to do the same thing. So it's kind of that double-edged sword where you do want to use the internet. Powerful tool. You do want to use the internet to promote yourself because that's what you're going to need to do to grow. You need to promote yourself, use the internet. At the same time, you're going to have people that are going to imitate and try to do the same thing that you do. So you're going to be drawing attention to yourself, which is good, and it could be bad too.
Dave, so you sort of kind of talked about it there when you answered the question, when you said like we'll take stuff that other people are doing that works. But we're not 100% copying any brand, but we take little bits that we see work and we apply it to our brand and to how it fits, I guess, our personality, because we're not going to pretend to be foul TV. What's his name? Chad from Bandit. Like we're not going to pretend to be him because he's his own thing, right? Like we don't need to pretend to be him. So
to bring what you're saying back, like there is only one Rut Daniels.
That's right.
Like I can't just be now like didn't go 20 and just start saying that in every episode of our podcast. Like that's his thing. That's him, right? Like I think that's kind of where you're getting at, right?
Yeah. Like and that's the thing, right? So like you look at Rut Daniels, prime example. I don't know. I think if anybody tried to do what he's doing right now, I think you would be, he's Rut Daniels 2.0. That would be the tag that would go with anybody that tried to do that sort of video, that sort of comedic hunting stuff, right? Like, because he's one of one to the best of my knowledge. I don't think anybody is out there doing what he's doing right now with the comedic side of thing and being as big as what he is, right? So there's times when I think you can imitate, but then there's some times when you could try to imitate, but you may fall flat on your face. Like you're not gonna do it justice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think some of it is too it's trying to be originality, being
100%
your own person, and I'm sure. We're all. I think Damien, maybe what you were saying too is like not necessarily taking parts and pieces from somebody, but we're definitely influenced, right? We're definitely influenced by what others do, how others do things, and kind of the whole Molly's voice thing and all. Like I'm going to date myself, but I really wasn't. I will do a woo or who or that kind of thing, but like I wasn't really a Ric Flair fan. I was a Hulk Hogan fan, brother. So that kind of gives that. Put a cat. That's kind of the joke with especially around Molly's is that it's kind of that. I don't do the Molly's voice all day long, and I've had people too. I'm going to segue off on a tangent here. Not segue. I'll go off on a tangent real quick. First time Texas too. A couple guys said, I thought you'd be different. I'm like different how? Like, what do you mean? Do you think I walk around all day long and feel your adventure? No, I don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought you just walk into the room and just rip your shirt off and throw
like,
it.
Like the Kool-Aid man.
Thing. Yeah.
Remember when we were kids, the Kool-Aid guy would smash through the wall? That's my impression of Jeff every time he walks into a room.
But sincerely, like it's hard to be. There's only going to be one original of everything, right?
That's right.
Like once it's been done, like you're just going to be influenced, how you would like to try to do it.
And
there's something there to say though, that like when we said earlier, like you've got to be yourself, right? So unless Rut Daniels is portraying a character, right? So that's a different side of it. But like if you are one way talking on social media and then you do a meet and greet at Molly's like you're about to do, Jeff, like people come in and they can't see like you being this like off the wall guy, and then all of a sudden you're just sitting there in the corner not wanting to talk to anybody, right? Like you got to kind of have that aspect too.
So it was the very first year we filmed. It would have been in 2005. I got to admit, I mean, you might not believe it today, but like when the camera got put in my face, like it's almost like the Ricky Bobby, like what do I do with my hands, like kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So from right there, I learned that when you put a camera in somebody's face, here's who they are, and they either become down here like I don't like the camera in my face, or they hey, let's elevate this and let's get wild and crazy kind of thing. So but yeah, there was a learning curve in there for me. That's something different, but there was a learning curve in there. Definitely the first year we filmed a lot.
I'd like to point out that I'm going to start trying to film some hunts this fall, and having the camera in my face is going to make me shoot terribly. Right?
Of course.
Yeah, like the camera changes 30 yards or something. I don't know.
but it's a good point because it's the camera. We'll put a little bit. Hey, there's Duker. Yeah. We'll put a little bit of pressure on you, right? And some people, like Jeff said, some will go above, some will go below. Few just stay even keel, right? But so you guys were talking about like this character, or like you can talk about Rut Daniels, a character, or Jeff walking into Molly's now for a contest and stuff. So it is a double-edged sword. So let's say you create a character and you are now a character of some sort. Well, when you're going to shows, people expect a character. They don't expect the guy behind the character anymore, right? So like Rut Daniels, Bud Fisher, like Bud Fisher is not showing up to Molly's.
Karen showed me his Instagram account the other day. She's like, "This is him."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's him?" She's like, "Yeah, that's him." And I'm like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah. So like nobody wants to see Bud Fisher, who's an awesome dude, who's a funny guy naturally, and a great conversation. You can have a great conversation with him, but nobody at Molly's wants to see Bud Fisher. They want to see Rut Daniels. And that's what, and I'm going to hazard to say, Jeff, that when you show up, people are expecting this larger than life character as well. That because when you walk into a room, you're big, you push off confidence, and people want to see that side. They don't want to see the laid back Jeff. They want to see the character.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially in that sense of, my relationship with Molly's. That's kind of, again, back to the Bruce Buffer type thing, right?
So let's, because we're as usual all over the place again.
We are.
Let's go back to the social media side of things. So Dave, the positives about social media, I really want to pick your brain on it. I want to know exactly what your thoughts are on, is social media, the technology, internet, is it imperative in order to succeed in the waterfowling community today?
Yeah, I think so. Like, look at, as a brand, for sure. but it's also changed the landscape of how you're going to succeed as a brand, right? Like nowadays, we don't need to send out 500 free t-shirts for people to see our, nowadays people have a t-shirt, they're wearing it, and it's just like they're posting on Instagram, hey, I'm walking down the street, and they're just wearing it, and it's like, oh, hey, that's a nice shirt, where'd you get that, right? Like, so it's changed that aspect of it too.
With regards to like pro staff, you mean, right?
Well, even just pro staffing, but as a business trying to like sell your gear, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like look at we talked about on our other podcast, the Union, right?
Yeah.
When First Light put out that duck lure, people were going frame by frame trying to look at all the new gear that hasn't been released yet to try and catch a glimpse of like, oh, I'm going to see something new, right?
Yeah.
And that's all driven through, so, and it's like teasers without being teasers at the same time. Yep. So the future success of business is going to be social media driven. And there are different ways to go about it, right? Like if you've got the budget and you can afford a celebrity to have your gear on, perfect. But sometimes it's just a matter of like, hey, I got a Jeff Coates decoy. I bought a Real Geese decoy pack from the Punisher pack, right? Like, and just tagging it in the field in use, right? That kind of helps. So I do think it is going forward. There's no changing it. I don't see what's next anyway myself. Right. So
yeah, Jeff, with you as being a guide service, like I look at Pitboss Waterfowl as a brand. If this makes sense, I look at it as a brand and a guide service. Does that make sense? Like I see you as two entities because I see Pitboss Waterfowl as the brand of Jeff Coates, but then when it's hunting season, well, then Pitboss Waterfowl is a guide service. So I view Pitboss Waterfowl as two different entities because you push out so much content that, when hunting season's not on the go, well, Pitboss Waterfowl is clearing land, doing a pork butt, training dogs, making decoys. But then when hunting season starts, you are a guide service. So how important, I guess I kind of just answered it, but in your mind, how important is this technology of social media, YouTube, all that stuff? How does that equate to how you view success?
So the guide service came first. From my perspective today, I like it. The brand, me, the guide service is all the same thing. It's all in one, right? I think that the guide service has turned into, quote, the brand because of social media. And I made a little note there. Back in the day, I ran an ad in Waterfowl magazine. And if I didn't get the magazine, I wasn't a subscriber, when it came out, I could tell you because I got emails and phone calls for a good solid week. And I just had a little 3x3 ad in the back. It wasn't anything crazy. But then, so just kind of, I guess it's not really giving am I giving away a secret? No. Getting back to some of the influence and people maybe emulating what you do, I always say I need to stay ahead of the curve. And that's kind of the way. Now, there's many different ways to do that, but like generally, typically, I just feel like I need to stay ahead of the curve, right? And again, so how do I do that? Just try to keep expanding and evolving and staying ahead of the curve. The through the social media, I mean, it's basically had a conversation with a very good friend the other day. We're talking about this topic basically, and I kind of said, hey, you know what? I just need to reel back and do what I do well. What I think is what do I do well? And I said, man, I just need to really do more of the decoy carving. And I carve all the time, but I'm more of like promote that, show that, try to evolve and do a better job at promoting the carving aspect of what I do, and just be better at it. And he asked me, am I the best carver out there? I'm like, no, not at all. And he said, well, who would it be? It's kind of, there's a bunch of names out there, but I said, but then I said, if you want to kind of reel it, I said, I want to say this humbly to you, but I said, if you want to say sea duck hunting, I said, man, I got to be in the top tier. I said, I don't know, I'm not going to tell you I'm the best, but I definitely have to be in the top tier of people that guide sea duck hunts. You know, sea duck guides, right? I said, I got to, and he agreed with me. He's like, yep. He said, I would tell you, you are the top. I said, well, even if I'm not, it's no big, but I said, I'm definitely, your question about decoys, I can tell you emphatically, no, I'm not the best decoy carver out there. I said, sea ducks, I said, I gotta be in the top tier there, kind of thing. And again, it's through the social media. It's through social media is the way that I've grown both the guide service as well as, if you want to say that I'm a brand, to grow the brand.
To add to that, not just coming from my perspective, right? If I was ever to look for a guide and I was looking for a Chesapeake Bay guide, right? I can tell you Jeff Coates. I can't tell you the next four because Jeff's social media brand, right? That's kind of where that kind of proves the benefit of the social media aspect of it, right? And you're seeing people that, not just because Jeff posts his stuff, but like certain guides around my area, if you look, like the people that go out and have good hunts with them, like even if it's a very low bird limit hunt, but they had a really good time, they're posting positive reviews and they're posting positive stuff about it and posting pictures and laughing and then having a good time. You see that stuff, so it kind of influences you to go to those guide services, right? So there's that side of it too. Yeah.
I've never paid for, let's say, like with Google, I've never paid for an ad to be ranked, or just always kind of had with Scott Moody's help, had a very strong web page. And if I haven't Googled myself recently, but if sea duck hunting, Maryland sea duck hunt, I'll definitely probably, if I'm not number one, I'm right there. And then in sea ducks, sea ducks in general, sea duck hunting in general, I'm on the first page sometimes, in the top 5. Other times, I'm still on the first page, but not in the top 5. So it's just there's a lot goes in there. And Dave, you probably know better about the the way that the search engines work and the analytics of that. I'm sorry, the algorithm of that, of what's good. And I, back in the day, I talked to Scott about it. Like, he's like, man, it's something that's, it's like, it's like the what's the recipe to Coke, or whatever, something that everybody wants. And he's like, it's just always, they're always changing it, so you never really can dial in. Is it bold text? Is it is it how you're tagging the backside, the meta tags on the backside of the web page? I think it's a good combination. It's having a good rounded combination of all that helps you.
And there's kind of like, in my mind, there's 3 things that you can kind of see. Like, there's the things that go viral. Like, if you shoot a banded pintail mallard hybrid and you post a picture holding it, that's going to go viral, right? Because it's kind of a rare thing. It's going to go, people are going to pick up on that, right? Then there's the ones that, like with you, Jeff, like people, they continually see it, so they're exposed to it, right? And that's something that, if they're exposed to it more often, they're going to see that more often. And then there's the ones that go viral for the wrong reasons, like a guide service or someone that does something that they shouldn't have done, and that's gone viral too, so people know about that quicker too, right? So yeah, those are kind of the 3 ways that I see it going.
I think back in the day with kind of, I guess the videoing and the TV shows have definitely influenced how I try to show what I put on my social media. I always am thinking about, well, here's a great example. I never put pictures of dead birds up, especially not on my webpage, right? Now, I had a lot of photos of birds, quote, getting shot, or birds decoying, or that kind of thing. And a good friend, Brian Rhodes, it was in Rhode Island, some guys were hunting with him one day, and he's like, hey, you know Jeff really well, like, does Jeff shoot limits? And like, Brian's like, yeah, what are you talking about? He's like, man, on his webpage, he doesn't have any dead birds. Like, does the guy, does he kill birds? And Brian was like, you mean the picture of Scoter with shot around him, you don't think that equates into dead birds? Like, what do you? But it was just more it was an eye opener to me, and I'm glad Brian told me that day. But he's like, these guys are, they were asking about wanting to go with you, but like, did you shoot limits? And Brian's like, he shoots limits every day, but he doesn't show pictures of dead birds. Or I show a picture, try to pick something out nice of surf Scoter, close-ups of the bill or the feet or whatever. But like, I always stayed away from the kind of the big pile pictures and the blood and the gore, and I will have to say, especially with Instagram, it's more and more like past couple seasons with stories, I do show dead birds, there, because it's guys, they're on Instagram, they want to, I don't want to say they want to get recognized, from my account, but I tag them, and I know that gets shared with, or their buddies are following along, so I definitely do show that. So I kind of have turned it into that I will show, I do show pile pictures, but it's more of just in the stories, the videos, there for 24 hours and it's gone kind of thing. So
I got the best advice from you actually there last year, when I always carried wet wipes in my blind bag for number 2 reasons, right? But then you kind of mentioned, like, if I'm going to show a picture of a dead bird, I'm going to make sure that bird looks as clean and as nice and respectful as possible. So I'll take a wet wipe and wipe it, make sure that the bill looks nice, and kind of get, if you can't get a side where it's nice, try and wipe away all like that. I learned that through social media too, right? Because, so that's a really good point. So now, if we can, let's dive into that a little bit, because now we're talking about social media, and we're talking about, and I don't want to use weird terms or anything like that, but we're trying to look as professional as possible, right? When we're doing our social media, because like Jeff said, listen, if you're listening to this and you put up piles of dead birds, we're not chastising you. That's you do that, and there are a bunch of people that want to see that. But if you're I don't want to make anybody angry when I say this, so I got to try and get around it a certain way. But if you are trying to appease everybody and try to stay middle of the road, because that'll affect your analytics, that'll affect the number of people that follow you, because these are all things now that people are worrying about, or I shouldn't say worried about, but they're concerning themselves about.
Should be conscious of it.
Yeah, should be conscious of it, because they, in order to succeed, well, they want their numbers to grow. They want their likes to grow. They want their followers to grow. So you're trying to appease. Does that make sense, or am I just rambling here?
I think what you're trying to say is, like, some people are seeing, like, one guy does a ton of big piles. So they're like, oh, well, I got to get a bunch of big pile pictures. But then on the flip side, they're also taking that big pile, they're flipping the mallard and the black and turning the boat around and taking another picture for a different day, right?
No, I think what I'm trying to get at is that, are you changing what you put out on your social media to appease to the likes and the followers, or are you staying as true to yourself as? So I'll say, listen, I'm a guy that I'm a straight up killer. I kill ducks and I kill geese. I'm going to show pictures of dead birds. That's who I am. As opposed to somebody else that said, listen, I'm a killer too, but I don't need to show big piles of geese and big piles of ducks, because I want my numbers to grow. And if I don't put out those, I don't want to say gory, but if I don't put out the pictures of dead birds, I'm going to get more likes. That's sort of kind of like, are you changing what you put out on social media to get more likes, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. But I'm really, really doing a bad job in asking that question.
No, and personally for me, we have the Punisher Waterfowl account, which is a business, and I try and do it very business-like. Yeah. And then I have my own personal account. I treat my own personal stuff that if I'm 80 years old and I'm starting to suffer memory problems and I look back on my Instagram account and I see a hunt from, there's got to be a reason or a story or something behind it, right? That's kind of how I see my social media. Like, I read this book and it had an influence on me, or I took my son hunting and we had a great time together, or I took this group out, or I try to do that now more so than anything. That's how I see it.
Okay. People that are listening, their heads are exploding right now. They're like, Damien, like, can you not just ask a simple question? They're like,
it could just be me. I'm kind of.
They're just punching their. No. They're like punching their radio, and they're like, get it out for Christ's sake. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, you're good. So back to the conversation about the best decoy carver on and on the other day. It did come up like that. There's a young fella popped up. I follow along. He just got 1 million TikTok followers, but like you go to his Instagram and like he doesn't have the same following he does on Instagram. But anyway, my story is that he popped up on my feed, and Karen's like, "Who's that?" and told a story and all. And like, to me, I told the friend in the conversation that we were having, that guy is very calculating. He's very calculated what he's doing to grow that. He puts a lot of time into it, and he's very calculated. I said, I don't think I'm like, I don't speak very clearly, at times. The radio ads have to be like, I'm good at if I can edit something. So it's kind of doing stuff like this on the fly. Sometimes, my tongue gets tied. I'm just kind of, I just who I am. That's who I am. Who I am, kind of thing, right? And I don't really think that I'm that calculated. I just do the stuff I like to do, and I try to post up stuff that I think would be entertaining, things that, again, promoting what we're doing, and kind of 50-50 mix of that. It's entertaining at the same time, it's promoting what we're doing. And definitely during duck season, that's when I have my October through January. That's when I have my best growth.
And Jeff, you are a big proponent of only putting out positive too, right? Like you don't even dip your toes in the water when it comes to the casting negativity on anything.
Not really, no. I mean, my best, most recently, and I was very agitated. Salisbury Airport flying two Septembers ago, Texas, and they wouldn't let my gun get aboard because they said the case was there was an issue with the case, but it's the same case the 2 years prior I flew with. It's the same people checking everything, and I was angered, and I got on the plane and I started to do a very negative post in the stories directed towards American Airlines, and I loaded them up. And still had service. We're about to take off, and I'm like, whoa. No, that's not, I got to stop. I got to pump the brakes. Went in and I deleted everything, and I tried to take I was still angry, but try to take the negative of it, and I turned it into something that was maybe more positive, where, hey, I got to, put it out there to the world. I got 175 of Crown Royal Black. Has anybody got a gun I can use when I get to Texas, kind of thing. So I kind of quickly, but I had posted up some negative stuff. But I went in very quickly, deleted. I was like, I want to, instead of being just totally negative, I said, and again, I was angered, but let's have some fun with this, or let's try to make this, let's spin it in a better light than me just being flat out angry, because I was angry.
I remember that, and I took the positive, like I saw the whole thing because I follow you pretty close, but I remember like you ended up getting one from someone else, and like you kind of spun the story from like the negative, and then you turn it around into like almost a game into a positive, right? And I think that's the direction that if more people took, it would be a much better place.
But sitting on the small jet headed from Salisbury to Charlotte, North Carolina, I did post 2 or 3 stories, excuse me, that were, it wasn't like I wasn't playing around, kind of thing. I was bothered.
So do you think there should be a rule, like if you're angry or upset or something, that you should wait a certain amount of time before, like so here for hockey, right? If you have a grievance about something that happened during a game or a practice or something, they kind of say the 24-hour rule. Wait 24 hours, let it kind of think about it, let it kind of cool off a little bit, and then discuss it with the with the contact for the team, right? Do you think there should be a rule about posting on social media? Like, don't do it immediately, like take some time, or how do you think about that?
Well, in that case, that's what I kind of told myself real quick, because like, you know, I don't want that negative stuff to be, you know, like, I don't want to show myself in a poor way. And I at hindsight, the stuff that I posted up, I was like, yeah, that's not the way I want to be seen, right? So again, yeah, you got to watch. I mean, maybe not hit enter anymore, you know, on the phones, or hit post or whatever. Yeah, you really do have to think about that, what you are putting out there. And sometimes there's lots of factors that could possibly, you know, affect our judgment. Late at night, you know, it's kind of, if there's some alcohol's been involved, like maybe it is best just to, you know, just you put your phone away, or, you know, well, definitely phone away, and just forget about it until, you know, till tomorrow. You know, think about it possibly differently, but yeah. I will say this. You know, turn the phone off, had no service for an hour and a half, and then get to Charlotte and turn the phone on, and bam, it's like it was, you know, it was all kinds of messages and all kinds of questions, and, you know, that kind of thing. So it was a pretty cool experience in that respect, that the effect it had on, you know, on the trip.
Yeah, but yeah, we've been talking about like the positives of social media, and I think the biggest one is it's kind of taken away a lot of the learning curve. Like, for example, I'm trying to get back into carving, and I'm trying to learn about carving. For me to get a mentor here, I live in the middle of nowhere, really. It's like an hour and a half, an hour 45 to get to someone, if you can get in with them. Otherwise, you know, I might as well just drive to Jeff's house, right? Mm-hmm. But with social media, every single day I can log in and I can look and I can say, oh, this is how you do it. This is how you carve a head. This is how you know, and learning new things. So there's so much positive to the social media aspect, right? Especially like, you know, learning from guys like Jeff that I probably wouldn't have learned from before, right? And take another example, like when a new product comes to market, it might be a full season, like way back when, it might have been a full season before people caught on to it or learned about it. Now with social media, like, hey, we just launched a product. Here's our first day. Here's testing it. It takes off like wildfire, right? So there's a lot of positives to the social media aspects that I find. So
I agree. Like, the positives outweigh the negatives, and I think the negatives are, to use a term that Jeff throws around all the time, are relative, right? You've got to really look at what you consider a negative, really, right? Because what one person considers a negative may be a positive to somebody else. So you have to think about that. But when it comes to the positives of the social media, like, if you like, just look at the waterfowling community today. Never have we been more connected. Never have we been and when I mean connected, I'm talking Canada, the US, Australia, New Zealand, all of these big, Mexico, these big countries that are into waterfowling. Never have we been as connected. Never in a million years would I have ever thought, and Dave, we have this conversation all the time about the people that we've met, and it's only because of social media and the technology. It's only because of that we've met the people and we've had the success that we've had. So I know there's people out there that may think that social media may be ruining the community. But if you sit back and you look at the positives greatly outweigh the negatives, in my opinion.
Here's one for you. How many female hunters would there be without social media? Like, I'm looking at it that my daughter, she was kind of like on the fence, and she's like, okay, I'll go with you, Dad, or whatever. But then she saw that episode where we talked with Emily, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, she guides, and I was explaining to her, and then Emily took the time to sit down and connect with her, and Emily was in, you know, out guiding, right?
Yeah.
And she starts talking to my daughter, and my daughter's like, yeah, maybe I can do this. How many other little girls have seen like other female hunters out there through social media and said, you know, maybe I could do this, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge one myself.
Yeah. So absolutely. And look at us. We're doing a podcast here this morning. Look at how many podcasts are out there that are waterfowl centric. Now there's some just like us where you're all over the place and there's tangents and stuff like that. But the access to information and learning, just like you said, decoy carving, Jeff, like the amount of people that watch you, and it's awesome because when you do and you say that you're horrible for when you're doing these videos that you don't like, you're not watching and people are asking questions and stuff, right? Yep. You're not following along with the chat because you're doing stuff and you're talking and the whole bit and stuff. But that's part of in my opinion, that's part of the lure to yours is that, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm carving and I'm just chatting. I'm just telling you, I'm saying out loud what's going through my head. Okay, next I'm going to just take a wide brush and I'm just going to put this on the bottom, right? You're just talking out loud of what's going on in your brain, and you're not focusing on the questions, because that's when you get down into the weeds and you could be totally thrown off topic. And Lord knows you and I, we get thrown off on tangents pretty quick. So like with you, I think that's part of the lure.
Well, I want to get back to kind of Dave with just, well, both of you guys really saying what is basically at our fingertips as far as information goes. I mean, Karen and I'll be riding down the road and we're talking about something, and just something obscure. We're like, well, I wonder this or I wonder that, and she just gets in Googles, and like she's really big into Googling. I really like, I will use Google too, but like I like to watch how something's done. So when I can't figure out how to, crush this bottle, I get on YouTube, how do you crush a bottle? And there's, there's 10 people where there's something technology wise, using editing video. And like, man, I don't know how to do this. Like, get on there. And I always like to say there's a 10-year-old kid telling you how to do it kind of thing. Right. And, but yeah, it was, there is a lot. There's tons of information that's available to us. So I think you got to use it. I'm going to make a little note about something I don't talk. Well, two things actually. First, I do have the gag order, the PBHQ gag order in place, right? So there is something to be said about doing things real time. Like, it's so you do kind of maybe, you should. We're talking about whether you should wait 24 hours or how you should post things. Sometimes maybe you don't want to post things possibly that are in real time, right? So it's kind of the double-edged sword. The very good friend says, Jeff, trees grow in silence. He says when you cut them down, they make a lot of noise. So it's that kind of, that kind of thing. That said, the reason he's talking to me is because the reason he and I were having the conversation, like I'm sitting here talking to you guys, is because of all the stuff that I've done in the past, right? So it's kind of that, it's a, like, I don't say it's a catch-22, but you gotta, obviously, if you want to grow your social media, you need, you need to do. I used to, he's dead now, but Rich Piana, big old bodybuilder kind of guy, cussed all the time, right? And he was like, social media, it's post, it's a job.
Content.
Yeah, you wake up and it's what you got to do. He says, people always ask me, I want to get into, the bodybuilding industry or the health industry or, the exercising industry. Like, he's like, man, you got to grow all this stuff, and that's what you got to do. And so again, like taking little, I was influenced by that, taking little parts and pieces, and or if I wasn't influenced, it basically backed up my feelings already. So it's that type of thing. I've not talked much about it at all. Karen and I just got interviewed, and I didn't get the email. She got the email saying that they were not. It was basically a reality show in Alaska, and we went through this whole process of getting interviewed and videoed and interviewed, and it wasn't going to work out for me anyway. I told him right from the get-go because of my duck season, you know, and that's it's going to be like a lot. There's a whole group of people out there that all these summer lodges, like they basically have a caretaker in the wintertime, and that was kind of going to be the premise of that show. But that was the 7th time somebody's reached out to me saying, hey, we'd like to you know, interview you, maybe we'll do a reality show with you. The very first time somebody called me, I can remember exactly where I was, you know, very near Karen's, a Royal Farm store, and like I thought somebody was effing with me, you know, like,
yeah,
the guy's like serious. You know, and they did at that production company was doing episodes MTV Cribs, and that's where he's like, hey, you can go check us out, and but we're trying to find the next thing, and again, it's the kind of thing where you do I've done a lot of interviews, a lot of Zooms, a lot of recorded stuff, and it's just, you know, they have to find out, is there a way that they can make money, and if they ever do, obviously one of these things takes off. But it is the kind of thing where typically they found me on YouTube. And it's the kind of thing, hey man, I like the first guy that told me and tried to, you know, pitch this to me. He's like, you look like a guy that I would just like to sit down and have a drink with and talk, just to see what's, like, you know, ask some questions, what's going on. And you know, he says you come across as being real, and I think that's kind of, so where I'm going with this segue in, like I've always kind of felt that it's what I do is real. It's not calculated. I do think about what I'm going to do, but whatever I show, I'm going to go do that anyway. Just I chose to show it, right? Because pretty much everything we do is true form. That's what we do, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the key is don't pretend. And we've said it right from the day we started our Punisher podcast, the Union. Like, we don't pretend to be somebody that we're not. Like, this is who we are, 100%. So what you see is what you get. Like, we're the same people in the blind, same people around the house, around the backyard, everything, right? So, and I think I think in today's world, with so many people pretending to be somebody else, I think people are looking for real and just somebody that's just going to be real and not pretend. And I think that says a lot about who you are if you can get on this and still be yourself and be successful. I think it do say a lot about yourself.
That generally the fake kind of gets figured out quickly.
Yeah, I think so too, Dave. You're right.
Yeah. Like if you've only been hunting for a year, maybe 2 years, people are going to pick up on like, what's going on there? Like, you know, you can't make yourself be grander than you truly are, you know, and maybe it'll work for a little bit, but eventually everyone's going to catch on.
Yeah. I think I think the takeaway from that, like if you're new to hunting, that's not something to say you can't get on social media and promote yourself. Go for it. Promote yourself. You're a new hunter.
Promote yourself learning.
Yeah. Promote yourself learning. You don't have to promote yourself as though you're going to put out smashers every day, because guess what? Even the guys that have been doing it for 50 years can't do smashers every day. And that's something I think that the new generation, like it's not going to happen overnight. And that's the thing. It takes work and just be true to yourself. And I think you'll be good.
I find the new hunter way, the ones that I really like are the ones that are new hunters that are like, they come on and instead of going like, hey, if you don't know this, then you're not a real hunter. You should have known this. And it's the guys that come on that have the same amount of experience, like say 1-2 years, and they go, look what I just learned. So I want to teach you. This is what I learned, you know?
Yeah.
Don't pretend you're an expert when you're not, and be humble about it. That's what I like to see. I like watching that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
I don't know that this relates to what you just said.
Squirrel.
But so I'll say this of like getting back, kind of like being influenced by people, and this not through social media, but just being in person. When we for a good 5 seasons there, we filmed everything, and like some of the things, some of those DVDs, man, there were three disc set that we showed pretty much everything, and the kind of mindset was, everything was right, except it just didn't work out. But we had the money involved, we had the travel, we had whatever we had involved, and we showed dud hunts. We showed hunts that really weren't hunts, because it was just, we were there, and our goal was to make hopefully an entertaining DVD of production. And sometimes the stuff just didn't work out, so we showed a lot of. I mean, I go back and kind of cringe of like how slow some of the video. Those are the first year of DVDs, how slow it was. Like what was I thinking, kind of thing. And I had a partner in that. We separated, and like I sat there for hours while he edited, and I had no interest. I edited photos. I didn't edit video, and all of a sudden. Like it was a super big learning curve for me, and I have to thank YouTube for it, but like I had no idea how to do anything with video. And our phones then weren't quite what they are today, so like a lot of it was with cameras and the first run GoPros and that kind of stuff. But my first trip to PEI, it would have been December of 11. That was like my first diving into trying to film some stuff and trying to edit some stuff, and it just kind of, I won't say it spiraled out of control from there, but it's definitely definitely there was a big learning curve, but it was well worth the time, I think, to do it.
I don't think we're allowed to talk about PEI anymore, are we, Jeff?
I didn't get that gag order. There's only one gag order I got.
Boys, we're at that 60-minute mark. And as usual, we could keep going, but I think it's probably time to cut her down. As usual, this will be available on Jeff's channel, on our channel, so on the Pitboss Waterfowl channel, on the Punisher Waterfowl channel. Both will have this in podcasts and on video. So whichever, go to both of us, like, subscribe. Do all that stuff, show some support. And listen, if you want us to keep going on this topic of social media, listen, we're going to focus on the positive. We have no intentions on getting into the negative. Or if there's something else you'd like to see us try and talk about, I'll try and dumb down my questions a little bit better because I'm rambling. But that's episode 4. We'll go around the table and then we'll...
What Damien's trying to say is comment down below if you want, like, if you want this,
thanks, buddy.
Comment down below what you want us to talk about, where you want us to go. Like, we're open for anything. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers.
Team, what was it? Power Twins? Yeah, do it. Jeff, to you, buddy.
Right,
last words.
Oh, 100%. Thank you. So if you are watching on my YouTube channel, please go follow Punisher Waterfowl, their YouTube channel. Their subscribers are growing. Mine happen to be, mine have been doing pretty well. Again, wintertime, summertime, big difference. But with that, and I want to promote August 2nd, Tuesday night at 7 p.m. this coming Tuesday night. It's going to be the second Grip It and Sip It with Karen. We'll be live on Zoom. The link will be available it'll be available a lot of places, but basically you go to patreon.com/Jeff Coates, COATS, JEFF COATS. It is free. The link is free, so you can get on there and get it, and we are going to be doing our second Grip It and Sip It. So I hope we did. I think we had a fairly successful first round.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was smooth as far as technology wise, as well as it flowed well. So hope to pick a few more people up. I think this week, this Tuesday nights, I want to tell a story. I want to have more of instead of just open forum, I think I want to tell a story, and I'm not sure if I want to tell the St. Paul Island King Eider trip, or
that'd be cool.
I'm going to go sea ducks, or my first time in New Brunswick on the Bay of Fundy shooting sea ducks in the February Eider season. I think I'm leaning towards the Canadian flare, the Canada flare. So I think maybe we'll be talking about that. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Am I ending this?
No, we got to get Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
I'm just talking, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's all good, brother. It's all good.
Yeah, no, good episode. Sorry, I kind of went off on a few tangents there just because I got lost. Stupid head. But yeah, I'd like to say, though, if you're listening on our Punisher Waterfowl account. You're probably already subscribed to Jeff Coates, but if not, make sure you go follow because you can learn a lot there.
Very kind, thank you.
Just throwing her. Anyway, good episode, boys.
I've got nothing else to say because I've been rambling too long. Jeff, end it, buddy.
As always, thinking of you. We are episode number 4 is in the books. Thanks for tuning in.
Big love.
That's not the same without the glass of Crown, buddy.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's,
Oh, hold on. Well, I'll do it.
Yeah. You got to show what's in it too.
Oh,
That's my favorite part.
well, mine's empty now. There you
guys, thank you very much.
It is the P&P Podcast.